Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Archontou here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. Happy Wednesday. I had to think what day it was. Sometimes it happens to me. We hope that you're having a great week. Happy to get partway through it with you and bringing you a very important conversation today. And so grateful that my guests could join us so that we could, lift up this issue and make sure that everyone understands that it is an issue, because it is one of those conversations that people shy away from having. And as a result, there's a lot to learn. So sit back, relax, and get ready to meet Eiko Boria, who is my guest today. I'm so grateful to have her. And I'm not sure if all of you out there know, but that there are parts of the world, including here in some local communities, that there is a lack of access to menstrual products, sanitation facilities, and adequate education on this. This is a widespread issue, and it affects an estimated 500 million people worldwide. Wow, that is a large number. Those experiencing what is known as period poverty may have mental health challenges and physical health risks. They may also miss school or miss work or have low self-esteem related to this issue. And again, I'm so grateful to have Eiko with us today. She is the founder and CEO of the Flow Initiative. It's a nonprofit organization that addresses period poverty and all of the issues around it. Welcome, Eiko. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Helen, for the invitation. Again, it's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you for creating this space for discussing this issue. And thank you so much to Lori and Christy, who are working in the back there to make this all possible.
Yes, wonderful team at the YW. They don't get on camera like I do, but we couldn't do any of this without them, for sure. Before we jump into the conversation, I want to tell our viewers a little bit about you, who, as in addition to being the founder and CEO of the Flow Initiative, you are also a social commentator, a writer, and a poet. Eiko is a former fellow from Columbia University's WGAE Dramatic Writing and Screenwriting Program. She is a member of the Period Equality Coalition, which is a lobbying entity for a New Jersey state bill, which will provide free period products to all public school students in middle and high schools throughout New Jersey. And that is an initiative that the YWCA of Northern New Jersey will support with you and stand behind. So keep us posted on that. She also works closely with the LGBTQ community to ensure that they are included in the period poverty conversation. She recently launched Project Local Access, which is working with libraries in the Jersey City area to become hubs working toward eradicating period poverty and establishing menstrual equity. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Flow Initiative donated over 100,000 period products to those in need and organizations that are dedicated to assisting and amplifying the disabled, youth, and working poor. Eiko frequently speaks at municipal council meetings and advocating for menstrual equity, gender equality, and against the patriarchal practices that we know exist around many others. Eiko has written about sexual harassment, sexual assault in the Los Angeles film industry, and has also written the Forbes article, Let's Talk About Periods and Break the Stigma, and also defending the dignity of homeless women veterans for the Women Veterans Support blog. She was quoted in the Huffington Post piece, The COVID-19 Pandemic is Making Period Poverty Worse. And she was also featured in the influential blog, The Hoboken Girl, as 21 Women to Watch in 21. I know we're watching her, and we're so grateful that she could join us. She also is often in the local Jersey Journal paper, as well as she's noted in Lynn Hazan and Everything Jersey City blog. So you are busy, and you're busy with a very important issue. And we're so glad that you could make the time to be with us here today. And so grateful that you have really created this space for this conversation, because as we've talked about, this isn't something a lot of people talk about. We recently on the show, a few maybe weeks to months back, we had another guest who talked about menopause. We know when it comes to a lot of these issues about women and their cycles, that this is something that is not publicly talked about. It's something that we kind of grow up with this veil of secrecy and shush 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 around, and as a result, issues like period poverty end up really growing and being an issue in our communities. So I want to start by just really shedding a light on, because I think sometimes when people hear about this issue, it's kind of like human trafficking. They think it's happening in other countries. They don't think that it's happening here in the United States, and definitely not here in such an urban area. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh, that's absolutely right, Helen. And hearing the bio, I'm like, wow, okay, so it has been a busy couple of years, right? I didn't realize hearing someone else hear what you've done is really like, wow, okay, so we're really on a course to make
Mhm.
something impactful, create some transformative change. Um, but yes, the certainly that was how I began this mission, thinking that it was something that only happened in developing countries, something that happened in other places. And I actually started researching it here in America to disprove that it occurred in America, right? I thought, I need to focus on West African girls that are in need of these products. And so when I started researching it, I saw that it was so prevalent here in our backyard. I knew that that's where I had to begin because I think for me there's so many things. There aren't as many things in life that you can know exactly what the other person is going through, right? But
Mhm.
mothers share that bond. They know how it is to carry a baby, and so for me, a period was something that I instantly know what's happening with your body, what you're going through, the pain, the discomfort,
Mhm.
um, you know, um, and so I knew that I wanted to start something to help all those people here started in New Jersey and has grown gradually to throughout the state. Um, I think one of the reasons it's so shrouded in secrecy, as you said, is because so many people are ashamed, embarrassed, humiliated, um, and the different cultures even consider it dirty, taboo. You don't. Some cultures don't even speak with a menstruating woman, um, and so I think there's so many different um, viewpoints to this issue that make women and all menstruating people really not want to open up. But I think by creating spaces just as you have and the YWCA has and speaking about it, I think it's extraordinary what I've seen when people hear this conversation and how open they become to just speaking about their own experiences. And that is something that is just so important. So again, mentioned it before, but thank you for being an ally just for creating the space.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to talk about it all. We want to talk about the legislation. We want to talk about, again, we don't talk about getting our periods, period, let alone talking about the period poverty issue either. So again, this is we're exercising a muscle here and kind of getting out a conversation and talking about something with no shame. That is something that we should all be thinking about and learning about. So we know that 1 in 5 girls are missing school. So it's again, not only is it an issue here in our communities, folks, for our viewers, but 1 in 5 girls are missing school due to a lack of menstrual products. Yet it's still often ignored as a public health crisis. This issue is not getting attention, but it's keeping our youth away from school. How is this not, really getting that kind of attention?
Um, well, one of the reasons I think it's right, especially in New Jersey. New Jersey is a predominantly male, it's dominated as far as elected officials are concerned. And so it's not something that they're thinking of, but in fairness to them, women aren't also speaking about it. So if women aren't speaking about it, it's hard to say, well, the men aren't doing something about it. Well, we're not doing something about it either. And that's where we have to begin. We're the ones getting our periods. We have to raise the awareness and bring it to, the large majority of men in the state that are elected officials across, all our counties, and let them know this is an issue. We need your help. And men, when you really explain to them and share with them, it's amazing how you know, they do become an ally, because a lot of the things that I get is, when we start engaging men and dads, it's like, oh, of course, I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have a sister, I know what this is, but they're not talking about it, right? Like we should be. Um, and Jersey City, one of the things that for one of the very first things we did was do a statistical survey to see, is this a problem in Jersey City? We want to start this, but we don't really know what the data is. We don't know, if it is truly an issue. And so we created a statistical survey at the Flow Initiative, and we conducted it amongst 100 Jersey City high school girls, which is the exact demographic that we want to target. And that showed us that 28% of them were suffering from not being able to go to school, being absent from school, leaving school early. Where the 1 in 5 is a 20% of the nation's girls not going. So automatically, we knew that we were higher than the national average and that we had a big problem. And so that set us off in our journey. In that surveys, we also discovered that 76% of them had period accidents in school, because of a lack of products. And so what that does is create, a great shame. It affects their morale, their confidence. It can lead to bullying, right? Oh, that's the girl that stained the chair. That's the girl that stained clothes. That's the student that can't afford products. 90% of those girls said that not having period products readily available affects their ability to focus and learn, right? So of course, if you have your period, you don't have anything to manage it, and you're in school, you're not focused on that algebra equation, or you're not focused on geography. You're focused on your period, and if you're going to have an accident. And so I think that creates a type of gender inequality, that we should, really fight for all our students, right? There's no reason, there's nothing they've done wrong. It's a natural biological function. And they shouldn't be penalized or punished because their bodies do what they do. We should step up efforts to assure that they have what they need to manage their periods.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have to say that the numbers that you're sharing in the Jersey City area are astounding. And knowing that we are higher than the national average on this issue. And I hope that our viewers are taking note of this and, really soaking in, what the magnitude and the impact of this issue. Again, if girls are missing school because of this issue, and on top of that, if they are dealing with, again, the shame, and of having an issue in the school, being recognized with this issue, that's attached to this, the psychological impact of that, and how it plays itself out, especially when we think about what a critical, in the development of a young woman this age is. I mean, it is so critical in terms of them making, decisions for their future. And so there's so many reasons why we have to take note of this issue and really think about, what can we do? And that's what we're going to talk about now. I also just want to point out to our viewers, here in the comments, you have the opportunity to go to the link for the Flow Initiative Foundation.org, which is the website for this wonderful organization that we're talking about today. And we also encourage you to follow the Flow Initiative on Instagram and on Facebook. There's a lot of great information for you to not only learn yourself, but for you to share within your networks by following on social media. So let's talk about, I mean, you're right there in it. What are some of the strategies that your organization is putting in place to eradicate period poverty and to establish menstrual equity and impact this gender equality issue that you're so aptly noting?
So, as a quick note, um, the difference between period poverty and menstrual equity. Period poverty is a lack of affordability to period products, and that typically affects low income, the working poor, students, artists, immigrants, and the homeless because they simply just can't afford the period products. Menstrual equity is a lack of access, and doesn't matter what your social economic status is. I've often said that the richest woman in the world has gone into a bathroom, gotten her period, and suffered from a lack of menstrual equity because there's nothing there that they can use to get a pad or a tampon. So menstrual equity just means access for all of us, regardless of your social economic status, because the truth is that women are the economic engine of this country. I did a presentation last week at the U.S. Conference on Poverty and Basic Needs, and one of the things that what I spoke on was tying policy, but and why we should push for policy because of our sheer spending power and how we really maintain the economic health of this country with our spending.
Mm,
And
so
so
true.
in New Jersey, yes, and in New Jersey, if all the women stayed home and didn't work, and just stayed home for one day, didn't show up to work, the state would lose close to $700 million per day. And so when you think about it in that way, and you think about how much we contribute to this health, we shouldn't really be, it shouldn't really be such an uphill battle to just simply get things in bathrooms to manage our bodies, a
Yeah.
national function. And so what are we doing in Jersey City? We've started a project, Local Access, which we hope to replicate throughout the state, which is using libraries, which are social infrastructure, and making them hubs for access for those people that that are in need of emergency period packages. And having that access, during the pandemic, I worked in a lot of food pantries and distributing a lot of food and resources to people that were desperate need. But one of the things I noticed is that these things tend to be once a week, or once every 2 weeks. So even if we're distributing to these individual food pantries every 2 weeks, if you get your period in between those 2 weeks, you still don't have the ability to access those products. And I knew that we needed to create something that had access points that were more, um, open on a daily basis. We're advocating with the coalition on a state bill, which is A3388 in New Jersey. It's in the assembly, and this is a bill that would put uh, free period products in all middle and public schools, um, because and have the state funded. Throughout the country, I think we're about 10 states that are doing this. So it's a trend, and we're
Yes.
hoping that it will get passed. It's been, it stayed, this bill has been sort of, in limbo for the past 2.5 years. It has not moved, but I think because of the momentum of other states, we're finally pushed it out of committee, and we're hopeful that that will pass. Um, in the meantime, right, a bill passes, but it's not implemented right away. What we've done in Jersey City, we created a pilot program in a local school in that has this program already. We teamed up with Hospico, which is the company that made it possible for New York. New York was the first in the nation to make these products available for free in all its public schools. And so we're working with that same company that worked in New York. We created a pilot program in PS 34, and we are just gathering testimonials and data, and we hope to be able to present this in December. Fingers crossed. Then that's when they'll present it. Um, and of course, speaking about it, something that you can also do, creating spaces, and you know, identifying places where you think would need these products.
Yeah, I love the bill, and the crux of the bill. One of the things we've seen, happening in New Jersey right now in this kind of post-COVID environment is that there's been, free lunch put into a lot of the school districts, and the feedback that we're hearing from parents about how helpful that really is. I mean, this is another one of those initiatives that should happen everywhere across the state. Let's get it piloted, and let's make it happen. We'll drop the bill number. Could you say it again for us?
Is A3388,
Okay, and
and
there's a
that's, a
Senate,
free. I'm sorry.
there's a Senate number as well to that.
S692.
692. Okay. So we're going to put that information in the comments. And so we do, just so you know, part of what this show is really all about is really activating our viewers to get involved. As I always share, you not only put our electeds in office, you tell them what to do. So you reach out to them, you let them know that this bill is important to you, to our community, to gender equality, and that you would like them to get more involved and help get it passed. And the YWCA of Northern New Jersey will join your efforts, your advocacy efforts, any coalition work that you're doing around this. We are 100% behind pushing this out through our network, and reaching out to our contacts as well in Trenton to see this through. We understand the importance of it and agree with you. And to our viewers, we also want to say, as you just heard, the other way that you can help is to talk about this issue. Go to the website, follow on social media, and definitely get yourself engaged and understand, share with someone, and, follow their website and see how you can support this wonderful nonprofit organization. As I always say, we as nonprofits really survive because of the community and the commitment that you all have to us, and the work that we do, whether you make a donation, whether that's monetary or with a product, whether you just share information and support, the cause in some way, volunteer. There's so many ways to get involved. And this is a wonderful and important effort for you to embrace, for sure. So before we leave each
Thank
other,
you so much.
is there any last words you want to get out to the community about this important issue and the work that you're doing?
Yes, so I'd like to just close in really reiterating the importance this is for all women, girls, menstruating people, um, because certainly this is something that's been this way since the beginning of time. Um, we've been having struggles, with people having access to these issues, to these products, or having a way to manage their periods since the beginning of time. And there's really not that much that has changed. Like, On the Rag was something that was created. Um, during Little House on the Prairie times, right? And that was basically because they used rags to manage their periods. And today, women are still using rags. So many girls are still using rags to manage their periods. And so I think that the more people can really learn, share this message, do period product drives that will get these products into the hands of those that need them the most. That's so important. Um, I think one of the this is like the most basic thing of our bodies, and I believe that so much of the inequality that happens is because our bodies are typically ignored, um, or regulated, but not really respected. And I think being able to have these products in every bathroom will demonstrate that they respect our bodies at the very basic level. They just respect our bodies enough to have these products available to us, and so I hope that we've inspired some good people watching this stream, and that they will join the good fight in helping us create this equality across the country. And there's so much room um, for people to join efforts, and I'm certainly open to any ideas, collaborations, brainstorming sessions. I get people call me all the time and say, "Can I speak to you?" And I would like to do. I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And I always give them time, because the truth is that so many people want to help. They don't know where to start. And if you can take 20 minutes just to guide them and have them be warriors on this mission, it's a time well spent. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Helen, and the YWCA, Lori, Christy, for all your hard work. Yes, Christy, I will put in the bills
Yes.
numbers as soon as we're done.
Yes, we'll put those bill numbers in and we'll get them in the comments. And I'm just so grateful for all you shared. I mean, you really hit it on the head about our bodies being ignored and regulated and not respected. And this is definitely an issue where we need everyone to come together. So again, we want you to check out the Flow Initiative's website. We want you to get connected to them on social media, and we want you to get involved in this very important cause, help push forward that legislation, help think about what kind of drive and what kind of information session that you can do, whether you're connected to a faith-based organization, another nonprofit, a group involving youth. This is a conversation that should be happening everywhere. So there are no barriers to this. And with that, I'm so grateful that you could join us for today's conversation on YWTV. We hope you can join us tomorrow, where, as you know, on Thursdays, we share the mic now with Black women in our community to elevate their stories and their voices. And we will be speaking with Tez Roro of Keller Williams Suburban Realty and talking a little bit about her life experience and her work. So I'm looking forward to talking with her then. And on Friday, and this is such an important issue, so connected to what we're talking about today, but connected to everything, is voting. We actually here in New Jersey are able to vote right now. We, for the first time, have early voting opportunities. The polls are open in your community. You just have to go to our website. There's information there about the polls and how you can find them right in your backyard. There's 3 ways that you can vote right now. We're going to talk about them in detail on Friday with Nike Bach from the Northern Valley League of Women Voters. So please join us on Friday if you have questions, because you can do early voting until this Sunday, October 31st. You can go in costume if you want, but make sure you get your vote in, or wait and do it on election day, or drop your ballot into one of the boxes that are in so many places. But make sure you're thinking about the issues that are important to you, your values, and that they're represented in the person that you're putting in office, so that issues like this are on their mind. And make sure, we talked about, so astutely you shared how unfortunately, the majority of people that are in office voting are not personally living with this issue. We need to increase those numbers. There's lots of great candidates that you can be supporting right now to put someone in office with voting power who is personally had this experience and can understand and elevate this conversation, because this piece of legislation is just the beginning for sure. There's so much to do here. Also, I just want to make sure, and we'll be doing a YWTV on this shortly too, to make note that between now and November 30th, individuals here in New Jersey who have children may be eligible for a child tax credit. Whether or not you filed for your taxes or did not file for your taxes, you have the ability to get a tax credit for each of your children. And so we do encourage you to learn more about this. Stay tuned. The YWCA of Northern New Jersey will be getting information out and providing support to be able to register so that you can get that tax credit into your hands, into your bank account to help. We know that this has been a very financially challenging time for everyone, and this is an opportunity that is available to you, and we want to make sure that anyone with children has access to being able to draw down on that money. Again, November 2nd is election day. Between now and October 31st, November 2nd, you can be voting by mail. If you need to know where your polling place is for early voting or the day of, vote.org is where you should be going. And we have lots of great programs that are upcoming, including a wonderful initiative for our Gen on the Go program called the Science Type on Saturday, November 6th from 12 to 2 p.m. It's a free program that's all about focusing on a diverse panel of women who are working in the STEM careers. And it's an opportunity for our young women to learn about that. And November 10th is our gala. Organizations like ours really are supported because of people like you who come out and support our efforts. It'll be a wonderful opportunity where we, lift up some amazing women and leaders in our community, as well as celebrate the tremendous work of the team of YWCA and all of the amazing people that we serve in our community. And so with that, we wish you well. Have a great day. Make sure you connect with the Flow Initiative, and we look forward to partnering with you over and over and over again. And thank you so much for taking the time to educate us on this such an important issue.